April 15th has arrived, the usual tax deadline, but it's been extended due to what happened last year in 2020. And yeah, Thursday, April 15th, that means the ESO event is now over and I can get back to some more regular type stuff. And so now we got to figure out how am I going to get back into videos, because I do miss making videos instead of streaming all the time. But I am quite the predicament right now that the streaming setup is actually way better than what I have for videos right now in terms of its reliability and ability to make stuff. What is up, everybody? This is Jay, aka MultimediaJay, coming on here in my usual middle of the night while everybody's sleeping. Now, my usual middle of the night setup with the lights and everything. And I've also punched up some of the contrast and the saturation in the camera settings for some things here. It's one of those things we got to keep an eye on and, you know, make sure that we set everything correctly and we start everything up. I've seen some people doing that for their videos, similar to what I would do with Picasa with some screenshots or other stuff. Just punch up the color and the contrast a bit. So we'll have some fun with that. We'll see what we can do with the cheap equipment that we have. That's kind of the sort of stuff that I tend to do on here. Also, we have a new subscriber. Mohammed, thank you for the sub on YouTube. So, let's see here. What are we doing? What are we talking about? Well, what does the darn thing between the red dots say? It's not a big project for a streamer to get involved on YouTube. So recently, we've had this whole situation with Harris Heller deciding to start streaming on YouTube. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. I think, you know, he could do something with his Twitch channel, like games or something like that. But he wants to get involved in YouTube streaming. He wants to get involved in the ecosystem that is YouTube with everything that YouTube has to offer. And he's made his choice in this matter. And of course, there's a whole bunch of discussion going on. And actually, there's some things people are saying with regards to being a Twitch streamer. I mean, do you want to even be a Twitch streamer anymore if you get these people that are changing platforms like this? So let's fire up some music. We'll do all Stream Beat Synthwave, because one thing I found out yesterday with the whole YTAL mixing with Stream Beats thing is the levels are different. I need to have some dynamic range compression specific to the player in order for there not to be songs that are too loud relative to the others. We're doing some experimenting tonight as well. What's this, liquid vinyl? This sounds cool. Is this from one of the newer ones? Fitting to start the discussion with then. Just get the levels right in the headset and stuff along those lines. So look, the whole thing with, you know, becoming anything on YouTube, videos, streams, what have you, mix of both. If you're a streamer, you have a head start. Let's be blunt here. You're not starting from scratch. No, seriously. Think if you will, imagine if you wanted to get involved in YouTube, but you've never made a video before. Well, first of all, it's not a big project to become anything on YouTube. You just have to grab a camera and go. And these days, it's even easier, thanks to smartphones and all this other cool stuff that's out there. But here's the thing. This current thing about, you know, Harris went to YouTube, should other people go to YouTube, da-da-da-da-da. Look, Nick Nimmin has a bigger channel than Alpha Gaming. More subs, and things like that, and more YouTube specific. What we have here is a situation where it's clashing philosophies about what to do with YouTube. On the one hand, you have people like myself who've been involved with this platform for years. We've seen a lot of major controversies come and go, and we've seen YouTube evolve into what it is today, which has a very handsome assortment of video-related things for people to get into. You have videos, obviously. You have streams, which streaming on YouTube has some unique differences and advantages versus streaming on Twitch, which we've talked about so darn much. You also have shorts, which is the answer to TikTok, but the shorts are just YouTube-y enough, if that can even be a word, that YouTube Shorts can actually tie into the rest of your channel. And the YouTube Shorts system actually can serve as a lightning round of being introduced to other creators. That's awesome. I don't know if that might be one of the reasons why Harris decided to come over to YouTube, because that's been his idea with Twitch for a long time. Twitch should have a way of getting a sneak peek of several new streamers at once through some kind of lightning round with Twitch clips. But as we see over on Twitch, the UI is what it is, and the communication is what it is, and the new features are what they are. So that's on Twitch, though. That's something Twitch needs to decide to do. I mean, if Amazon, for example, wants to cash cow this thing and try and make money off of it, but not really put in the work to build a really big techie platform like what YouTube has done, that's an Amazon thing. And all of this corporate stuff, this thing where, oh, maybe Amazon is sabotaging Twitch or whatever, some things that some people are saying in certain circles on the internet, all of this corporate stuff cannot be a reason to hold yourself back as a creator. It can't be a reason for you not to get involved somewhere or get involved at all with this kind of stuff. And that's why it's really silly. That's why it's really silly for people to make such a big deal out of being a Twitch streamer or anything like that. Because, I mean, if you don't know any better, of course it's going to seem awesome until, you know, any story sounds true, until someone tells the part 2 of the story and sets the record straight. But here's the thing. What we have going on here is a clash of philosophies. You have YouTube, the respectable platform that it is, in and of itself. You have people viewing YouTube that way. And you also have people who want to be Twitch streamers but know that YouTube is better at certain things than Twitch, who view YouTube through the lens of Twitch. So the way they look at YouTube is going to be different. The way they approach YouTube is going to be different. And if you don't learn to recognize the differences in these different philosophies that are floating around out there, you're not going to be able to spot when you're watching videos about making videos or growing on YouTube or anything like that, the differences between somebody who is big on the platform, not using it as a means to an end, and somebody who has spent some time caught up in this idea that I don't think has any credibility anymore. I mean, if you spend years building a reputation for telling people to grow an audience on YouTube and then bring everything over to Twitch, you're not the same kind of person as somebody who thought that YouTube was good enough all this time and didn't use it as a stepping stone. Sorry. History is just not on your side, and there is no retconning. There is no suddenly becoming, oh, I'm this big YouTube person now, because people are going to recognize your earlier stuff, and they're going to call you out on it. Like, why were you like this for years, and then suddenly you became like this, and you need to have an answer for it. I think really what some of these people that are doing these commentaries need to think about is just the ugly truth of the matter, that they've been wrong about something. They've been on the wrong side of what is essentially a competition. This idea, you know, they've been on the wrong side of what is essentially a competition. And it's corporate America. It's companies that are doing their thing. It's tech giants, actually. It's Google and Amazon squaring off against each other by proxy with their subsidiaries. It's a proxy. It's a corporate proxy war, if you will. But this kind of stuff is, I mean, it's possible to end up on the losing side. And so when you've made a mistake, you got to take ownership of your mistake. Don't run from your mistakes, learn from them. So, I mean, if you drank the purple Kool-Aid, if you're a Twitch streamer who drank the purple Kool-Aid and you have a following on Twitch, congratulations. You've done better than a lot of people who barrel away and don't get anywhere. So, whether you're barely a partner at like 70 concurrents or 70 or 80 concurrents or something, or anything of that sort, congratulations, you've done something. Now, it's easy to see someone like me come along and be skeptical of Twitch and think that if someone's a partner with a decent following that they should just go to YouTube. No, actually, I mean, you've got something on Twitch. If it works for you, cool. I mean, actually, when it comes to content creation, one of the worst things you can do is just bolt from your audience and, you know, just bolt from your audience without telling them anything. Whether because you think a platform is better or anything of that sort. Yeah, you should be open and honest and upfront with your audience. Not just, oh, this looks like a way for me to grow, so I'm going to go do this for a while and then come back later. So, you know, it just doesn't work, because people are going to call you out on your nonsense, and it really erodes your credibility in terms of you were known for this and now suddenly you want to do this. You have to become known as somebody who likes trying new things, and you need to just say, look, you know, I experiment with stuff. That's what I do, by the way, personally, me. When I was growing up, I was one of those kids in school who was in multiple clubs over, and I kept changing clubs because I got curious about different interests that were represented. So photography club, chess club, wargaming club, Skills USA. I mean, I was in different clubs all throughout high school because I wanted to try new things. And then this is picked up where school stuff left off in my how I handle MMOs. This is picked up with, you know, the schools and stuff with how I handle MMOs. I'm an altaholic in MMOs. World of Warcraft, Elder Scrolls Online, doesn't matter. Yeah, World of War, WoW, ESO, just doesn't matter. I am an absolute altaholic. I start with a character like a divine spellcaster or a fighter or something, or a paladin or whatever, and then I get curious about what's it like to play this other kind of character, and so I'll be changing things around, trying new things, rolling alts, and the whole 9 yards. And so there's when it comes to content creation and stuff like that, I mean, I experiment with stuff. I experiment with stuff on YouTube, experiment with stuff elsewhere, experiment with stuff on Twitch, experiment with all kinds of things. And sometimes, this is the thing that a lot of these growth gurus can't seem to wrap their heads around. Sometimes I do stuff just for the heck of it. It doesn't matter if anybody watches it or not. I look back and I'm like, hey, I'm glad that exists now. I had fun doing that. Let's do something like that again. No. See, this is really what gets lost on a lot of these commentators, is the idea of a recreational user of a platform like YouTube or Twitch. No, seriously. Somebody who's just doing this for fun. They don't care about numbers, they don't care about growing, they don't care about making it a full-time income or whatever. They just want to have fun. Even on Twitch, I mean, there are some people that found out about my Twitch channel that are wondering why I don't play games on there more often, just so they can see what I'm doing, you know? It's like the internet version of going over a friend's house to watch him play video games, which many successful video game streamers are basically replicating on the internet, and they just keep it professional. And they stay focused on getting things done and making progress. But just because you do that doesn't mean you're going to be popular. I can tell you, I am very, very used to being unpopular. It goes back decades for me. One of the things I found out early on in life is if you actually have a spine about some things, there'll be people that hate you just because of that. And there'll be people that downplay everything you say or deadpan everything you say just because of that. There are people that will cold shoulder you just because of that. So, when you decide to be unpopular, you basically are signing up for the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak. But when it comes to the current discussions going on right now, look, if you have a reputation for making videos, telling people to use YouTube as a means to an end, and now suddenly you're changing your mind that it's not going to be a stepping stone, and that I'm going to do everything on YouTube. I'm going to try everything. I'm not just going to try and grow an audience and take it back to Twitch with me. People are going to spot that. People are going to notice that. People are going to react that. Some people may react by not saying anything. They'll stop watching videos or whatever. They'll stop doing this. They'll stop doing that. You know, they'll just do that sort of thing. But it's just amazing. You know, there used to be this, I think it was a Shakespeare thing, Much Ado About Nothing. And actually, there was one time early on when I was on YouTube and I got some nasty comments from people because of a video I made about a way to charge devices with USB hubs. And one of the questions they asked is, it's not that this video sucked, it's why does there need to be a 10-minute video about something this basic? Well, that's my attitude, my opinion now about this whole conversation about, should you second guess being a Twitch streamer on Twitch? Should you consider going to YouTube? Should you consider streaming on YouTube? It's not a project. Not hard. Grab a camera and go. You know, even a matter of fact, in today's world with smartphones can do all kinds of wonderful things. You just got so many people out there that are trying to get people to watch their YouTube videos by making something like making videos that people like and subscribe for and come back and watch into this huge thing. And you know what? As a longtime veteran of large companies, I am very familiar with people embellishing the living daylights out of everything they do. Taking common sense stuff that a team should be doing anyways and calling it this great new initiative for the next fiscal year. Or how about, imagine this. Imagine somebody, they're in a position that they know they're going to get laid off. Imagine somebody, they know they're in a position that they know it's going to get eliminated. They know there's got to be layoffs at some point because they're getting blown off, they're getting treated like garbage, blah, blah, blah. Their projects aren't getting approved, their proposals aren't getting approved, so they think they're going to get laid off. So they find another job. They leave a company and they go somewhere else because they think they're going to get laid off. Then they turn around and they talk to you. And they say, I decided to make a career pivot. You got another job. Shut up about that embellishment nonsense. Stop making it sound like things you're doing are these big, grandiose things, when in reality, you're an understandably human being out there doing stuff. Think about it. You're a completely understandable human being doing stuff that other human beings are doing. Stop trying to make it into something bigger than what it is. Because you know what? Everybody can do that kind of stuff. So let me show you just how easy this is. Let's take this thing with the drinks in it. All right. The simple act of picking up the drink thing. Well, I executed some kinetic force with my appendage to use force to grip and take control and take charge of this inanimate object here, and then I exerted more kinetic energy and more muscular force to fight hard against gravity, that force that's all around the planet, to get this thing in the air and move it around at my will, at my command, at my whim. A rather snooty way of saying I picked this thing up and I'm moving it around in the air. When you're a cynic of other people's sales pitches and marketing, that's a habit that sticks with you. And I've been skeptical of things people are trying to sell me more than enough to spot when individuals are doing it. It's just like this personal branding obsession with all these streamers. Stop making it into such a big deal that you want to have a consistent style and attitude to your streams. I'm building my brand. I'm building my brand, my brand, my brand. If you people who preach this stuff understood just how big branding is and how important it is in the world of large companies, you wouldn't be saying these kinds of things. You would be astounded at just how you've made such a big deal out of what? You're a streamer who's consistent, you have some pretty colors and graphics. I know why people talk about personal branding. I know where personal branding is applicable, but I think it's a bit pompous to say that you get yourself a streaming setup and you're streaming like this game that many other people are playing, and somehow you're building a brand by doing that. Stop feeding your ego and focus on what you're doing and making it better. I dare say, watch your own stuff as your own worst critic and go wild trying to find ways you can do things better. No, seriously. So yeah, this is the thing. You know, I think the world of psychology has a term for this whole thing people are doing, where they take these basic things and they make them so huge. Like the simple act of grabbing a darn camera and becoming a YouTuber. Whether you're making videos or streaming or some combination of everything that this platform has to offer. There's a term in psychology known as histrionics. It's the kind of attention-seeking behavior that can get pretty bad for people if there's too much of it. You ever meet that person? They absolutely cannot tolerate ever not being the center of attention. You ever meet those people? Literally, the minute the focus is on anyone other than them, they have to try and get someone's attention again. It's crazy. There's people out there that are like that. It's just draining to be around these people who can't just do what they need to do, you know? How about at work? You know, the showboaty coworker who must always be the center of attention, right? You ever see those people come through where you work and stuff? You know, they must be the boss's favorite. They must be in the spotlight. And the minute they are not, they're doing all kinds of wild things to get back in the spotlight. Show up and get the darn job done. Fundamentally, it's about how the team performs, not you individually. Now, you need to do well, of course, but what matters in the end is whether the team's doing its job. So, absolutely crazy. So yeah, it's not a big project for a streamer to get involved on YouTube. Don't let anybody make it into something bigger than what it actually is. Let's fire up some PowerPoint. You know, Jay slides. What did I have in there the last time? The obsolete Twitch tuber philosophy. Did I do a file save as on that? Save as. Obsolete it was to Twitch tuber obsolete. Save that. I probably have duplicates in here now, but let me just load up J slides and just blank everything out. Look, if you're starting as if you're a streamer, why don't I just put that back on the screen? Hey, we are kind of starting where we left off with this discussion. Now, we are starting where we left off with this discussion here. So, move a few things around between the various screens here. Hey, I have all those lights. Why aren't you using them? That's one of the things I want to make videos about. The Wacky World of MultimediaJay tells a story of what I'm doing with tech stuff in this geek house and things like that. So, we're going to begin actually with this camera. This is my old camera. This Sony is actually my old camera from, you know, making the various tech videos and stuff. It has no support for external microphones, but it does a solid job at recording video. This is what we're going to start with, and we're going to progress from there. And we're going to make videos about all of that kind of stuff. Now that the ESO event is over, I can diversify my free time again instead of grinding away doing all that stuff. There's probably a maintenance too, so the game's going to go down in a half an hour, so I'm not going to go bolting off of the stream and go and do some of that other stuff here. All right, let's put some PowerPoint on the screen here. Let's talk about that. We'll begin with the obsolete Twitch tuber philosophy. Here's where we're starting, everybody. You can't grow on Twitch. They make YouTube videos to grow an audience there and bring the audience back to Twitch. Platform like Twitch doesn't matter up. That's a platform problem. Platform doesn't need a crutch. You know, you don't need to be defined by some platform's limitations or some format's limitations. Like if you stream too much because you're on Twitch, things like that. What if the platform being used as a means to an end fixes its issues, like YouTube? Some people just like certain platforms and stay on one all the time. Their audiences you will get exclusively from being involved on one platform. So, get involved in some other platforms, you'll get those other audiences. Let me just see what kind of goofball stuff is going on here. Yeah, I'm seeing some signs that YouTube is improving their streaming system, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on that in the YouTube Creator Studio. Nice. We'll check that out after we conclude things in Live Control Room. So, all right. So starting with the obsolete Twitch tuber philosophy. YouTube, the big thing though is this bullet point right here. The YouTube of the 2020s is turning into a package deal, much like Facebook. YouTube these days features videos, streams, shorts, text picture updates via the community tab. So YouTube features all this lovely stuff, right? It's not just, you know, the video site anymore. And let me just say this. Go back to full camera here. Let me just say this with regards to YouTube and YouTube streaming specifically. The original motto of YouTube was broadcast yourself. I think streaming on YouTube is closer to the broadcast yourself thing than making videos back in 05 and 06 was. I mean, you're literally broadcasting yourself. Said this a couple of times on here before as well. But I think the point bears repeating. That, yeah, I mean, streaming on YouTube doesn't have to be this weird thing, and YouTube doesn't have to be associated with just videos. You know what? Let's get rid of the entire slide and start with a fresh template with a title and content. Start that out. Let's talk about becoming a streamer. Or streamers going to... Okay, so it's not a project, big project, for a streamer to go to YouTube. Is this going to fit? Is this going to fit? Oh, barely. So, first thing we need to say, you know, let's get rid of the slide. Let's get rid of that previous slide there. So long. We've certainly talked about that enough. So, here's the thing. It's not a big thing for a streamer to go to YouTube. It's not this big project. Just grab a camera and go. I mean, if you're already established as some kind of streamer on Twitch or wherever, you already know some things about content creation. You already know some things about making stuff. You know some things about working with people. You know some things about people show up and you entertain them, or you inform them, or you enlighten them. And you know some things about the live format. So here's the thing. You already know if you are able to get people to any amount of people, even just one person, to watch your Twitch streams or whatever, you already know a few basic things about content creation. And that's the important thing that streamers need to remember when they come over to YouTube, is that they're not starting from square one. So, if you're a streamer, you are not starting from square one. As opposed to someone who's never made anything before. They don't know what they're doing. They don't even know how to work the darn camera or their smartphone or whatever. And they can't even think of anything they want to actually make videos about. You know how much writer's block, the YouTuber version of writer's block exists with this stuff? Sometimes, you get the itch, just, I want to make something, and you just can't think of what exactly you want to make. So, not a bizarre thing. Not in the slightest. So, it's one of those things where if you're already a streamer, you already have something you're interested in, you already have something you're making videos, you could make videos about. What's going to change is the delivery. That's the biggie. So think about it this way. Let's suppose that you really like, let's pick a game here. Let's suppose that you really like Call of Duty Warzone. So as a live streamer, as a Twitch streamer, you're streaming Warzone, you're doing matches, you're trying to rank up, you're playing with your friends, you're bantering each other on Xbox Live or whatever. You're making the voice comms sometimes funnier than the actual game. Sometimes you take what's supposed to be a first-person shooter or battle royale, and you're turning it into some comedy show with your friends, all just taking verbal jabs at each other, like ha ha, headshot, ha ha, I pwned you. That's old language nowadays. I gotta stop pretending I'm hip and cool like the young kids or whatever. Maybe I should start talking about Fortnite, or no, that'd be even worse. But yeah. Call of Duty Warzone. So you're into Warzone, you stream Warzone, you play Warzone, you're into this kind of stuff. And then you decide you want to start a YouTube channel. So you can come over, you can stream on YouTube, and you're not going to have like concurrence being anything important because it's about watch hours and making something that people want to watch sometime. So the emphasis isn't as high on how well you do when you're live. I mean, it's cool if you get a regular group of people that are tuning in. But in my case, I can tell you, a lot of the people that would watch what it is that I do on here, my own analytics tell me it would be better if I was streaming in the early to mid-afternoon, because that's when many of them are on YouTube. So, but being night shift, that's when I first get up. So here I am, sluggish, waiting for the tea to kick in, because coffee has a bit too much caffeine for me nowadays. I'm a bit sensitive to caffeine in my old age. So, now drink tea, maybe some like green tea or black tea or something to just get some energy that way, or something like that. Maybe use the Underdesk Pedaler. My doctor actually recommended I pick up one of those bike stands that converts your bike into an exercise bike. It's something new that just came out a couple of years ago, but they're not like Amazon, like $130 or so. But it'd be cool to not need an exercise bike because my bike can serve as one. Got the fat bike over there, gear it up, be able to put some oil on it and spin the gears without having to flip the bike over. It's stuff like that. But yeah, so the most popular time the best time for me to stream according to YouTube is early to mid-afternoon Eastern time, but I'm basically 12 hours removed from that. I'm in the middle of the night, and I can tell you there's more people that show up if I stream earlier in the wee hours of the morning, because you can't be fishbowled by your time zone. If I'm in here at 1 in the morning Eastern, that's like towards late night on the West Coast. So folks from California and stuff, they can still, it's not going to be too late for them, just because I'm a night shift guy that stays up till sunrise. There's a lot of cool things about night shift. One of them is that I have a nice quiet neighborhood. Everybody that makes noise during the day is asleep right now, and this is a house, not an apartment, so I don't have neighbors through the wall. So the only way I would disturb someone is if I had a window open and I didn't know it. So I've sound tested it with my own sound system. I can run the subwoofer. You would have to be outside my house eavesdropping in order to hear any bass, even when I turn it up relatively loud, because I have a system that goes deep but not loud, so it covers the low end, but it doesn't like make stuff fall off the shelves or anything, because I'm using a passive sub. But it's yeah, I just wanted to cover the low end so I can have some bass. You know, maybe turn some things up here and there sometimes to thump things a little, but I sound tested it when I first moved in. And it's like, whoa, cool. I can really do a lot in this place. That's awesome. So, anyway, let's get back to the PowerPoint here. So the thing is, if you're a streamer, you're not starting from square one. You have something that you like to talk about. You have something that you like to focus on. Thing is, though, what has to change is the delivery. I mean, here I am just shooting the breeze on stream. If I wanted to make a video about this kind of stuff, I would have to be a lot more direct. Why? Because I have an editor. I have an editing program. I'm recording after the fact. If I was like this in my videos, you wouldn't be really watching a video. You'd be watching footage. So, yeah, if I was like this in my videos, you wouldn't be watching a video. You'd be watching footage, because that's basically what a live stream is. It's footage. You know, it's the rudiments of what you make into a video. It's not a video on its own. You can be good at entertaining crowds live. You can be good at live routines. You can be good at live show flow. You can be like a radio guy even. Like, you know, me sounding like I'm doing radio stuff here. And having this discussion for like an hour or two, similar to a time slot on a radio show. So, I can come on here and just do all that. I can be good at this, but it's always going to be limited compared to if I made something and I could edit things out or do takes, reshoots, things like that. All those things you learn about if you take a film class or you just get into this stuff. Stop sitting there trying to figure out what you want to do. So that's the thing. Going from streams to videos is just a change in your focus on show flow. What is show flow? Let's see. Why don't we just hear? You're not starting from square one. Let's put some bullet points in here. Actually, no. Let's define show flow. Show flow is something that I learned about in my college radio days. Yeah, can you tell by how I sound that I did stuff in college on the radio? So, show flow is one of those things, we talk about it a lot on here, where if you don't have flow, you don't have a show. In other words, you're constantly keeping things going, not letting things get dull and boring and not really, you know, stopping. Making sure that if someone listens to you for an hour, that it's an hour well spent. So, that means you're organized and you're disciplined and you're staying on task with what it is that you're doing. So, hour-long discussion about current news and events and stuff. Make sure that it is packed with stuff for people to listen to and enjoy. Don't be constantly stopping or, you know, fiddling with something, or, you know, don't eat something or drink something that makes you have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes or something like that. You know, make absolutely certain that things keep moving along. Used to say at the radio station, if you don't have flow, you don't have a show. So work on that show flow. And that's the thing. One of the things that streaming as we know it on Twitch, I call it hangout streaming, because, I mean, if you're hanging out with a friend, it's not something that's planned. It's not putting on a show. It's just whatever happens, happens. A lot of Twitch streamers are really good at that. The big ones especially. It's like going over a friend's house and watching them play video games, just with more audio-visual stuff involved. So, I've experienced, by the way, I had some friends back in the day. We played Nintendo 64 and Mario Golf and stuff. I even went to a Y2K party. So, you know, the kind of friendly, you know, relaxing over someone's house, and we're playing a game or something. That's what a lot of good Twitch streams feel like to me. It just kind of harkens back to that Y2K party and the various times I went out with my friends and stuff along those lines. But it's not a show. It's not like, say, you go somewhere and there's some performance of any sort. Just, you know, whatever happens, happens. But that doesn't translate well into video, because if you're going to watch a video, you don't want a video where there are these long stretches of things being dull because nothing's happening. You know, or, oh, pizza's here, AFK, and they show their chair for 10 minutes. Which is why I'm glad there's things like the YouTube Cloud Editor to edit that sort of stuff out. Let's head back over to PowerPoint. If you are a streamer, you're not starting from square one. So the big thing is you've gotten past the writer's block. You know what you want to be all about. So here's the thing. Someone starting from scratch could have a ton of writers of audio. You know, let's just call it audio-visual writer's block. Writer's block. Can't figure out what you want to do. You're not like that if you're a streamer. So, as a streamer, you already have mechanical keyboard and everything. You already have stuff to make videos about. You have content, but what needs to change is the delivery. That's the thing. You already have stuff to make videos about. You have content, but what needs to change is the delivery. And this is where we can get into a listing of the 3 kinds of content that I have on my channel here. But no, actually, no, let's do videos and streams. I'm not talking about stuff from streams or anything, because stuff from streams is technically a form of video. So here's 3 kinds of things here. Videos created from scratch, edited, crafted into masterpieces. Then you have, for 2 types of streams, hybrid streams, like shows, like radio shows, etc., can be watched live or after the fact. And then we have, of course, hangout streams. Let's see, like hanging out with a friend, worst show flow, blah, if watched later. And that's the thing, you know. Let's think about the world before all of these services existed. Where would you have found the ancestor of the hangout stream? So let's imagine, for example, maybe you make some funny videos and they're MPEGs and you upload them to like collegehumor.com or something like that. Some website in the pre-YouTube days. The ancestor of the hybrid stream would be like a radio show like we mentioned. Now, here's the thing. Imagine if you were on like a Skype call. Imagine a Skype call, you know, and all the bizarre stuff that happens nowadays be Zoom meetings or something, but just situations where what matters is the audio-visual communication. Nobody's trying to put on a show. We're all just kind of together virtually on the internet. So I guess nowadays it'd be like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, etc. Things like that. Just a Discord call with multiple cameras going and things along those lines, and you see everybody, and it's not exactly the sort of thing that you'd want to watch after the fact, unless you want to say, hey, what did so-and-so say about this, that, or the other? It's not something you would want to watch after the fact. It's just the sort of thing where it's most valuable when it's happening. That's what hangout streams really are. And that's what a lot of game streams and stuff and Twitch streams are, which is why you end up making stuff into videos. So you make highlights videos of key moments from the big Warzone tournament that you were part of. Hybrid streams would be more the sort of thing where from the beginning you just want to go, 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 not have any dull bits, and fight hard against the limitations of live streaming as much as possible, and perhaps not even need to do hardly any editing. One of the things that I've been doing with the streams that I have on YouTube right now is, because YouTube has shown signs of improving their systems. Let me refresh my page here and see if YouTube has improved a few things here, or do we have to do some stuff after the fact? Ah, good. I'm liking what I see. So let's suppose YouTube continue this path. So YouTube is showing signs of improving their systems. So one of the things I've been doing is, of course, setting everything up after the show. Instead of waiting for extended processing to finish, I'll just add an end screen later. So there'll be an end screen that pops up later on because it's locked out until the extended processing is done. But set everything up. Even the thumbnails sometimes can be generated automatically by the system as the stream finishes processing. But one of the things I've been doing is, of course, after the extended processing finishes, put in an end screen and go and chop out when I was verifying the connection. YouTube has a feature, which, by the way, which makes start soon screens pseudo obsolete. I just got to figure out how it works and do some tinkering with it. The idea here would be, if you were watching the live event, there'd be a timer that would count down to when I was going live, set to like 15 minutes or something. It would show some kind of video loop of some sort, and then you start the stream with an intro screen instead of a start soon screen. So when the stream is done streaming, it's like a video. It's like you did a gigantic wing it, one shot, one take live video, so to speak. And of course, since YouTube doesn't have content expiration like Twitch, then you have a situation where the stream is essentially a video, and there's a robust cloud editor to edit out any dull bits. So You know, if you're on stream and you're like, okay, folks, got to use the bathroom, be back, you know, and you just show your chair for 10 minutes or be right back screen, come back, edit it out. It's one of the things I have to do with some of the streams that I have with BRB screens in them, is just chop that so that people watching it don't have to arrow around. So, but this is the spectrum right here. I really think that videos, hybrid streams, hangout streams would actually be a good thing to make a graphic of. So, sometime later on, we'll revisit this. Because it is kind of like show flow. Videos will have the best show flow, hangout streams will have the worst show flow, and hybrid streams will be somewhere in the middle. And this affects when they're worth watching, or the need to edit. So, of course, videos are the wild card because they are edited by default, so they don't really matter here. But yeah, as a streamer, you already have stuff to make videos about. You have content, but what needs to change is the delivery. Learn show flow. And there you go. And that's how you cross the bridge, so to speak, into making videos. So I mean, whereas Warzone, since we're looking at, you know, high show flow, let's make sure to put in high show flow, medium show. Capitalize or don't capitalize? We probably should capitalize it because it's a concept. It's a quality of what it is that you do on YouTube, or anywhere for that matter. Show flow. How well can you keep the show going? It's showtime. Let's see how well it goes. Low show flow. Yeah. So, yeah, you learn about show flow, and now you can make videos. So again, back to Call of Duty Warzone. You're a Warzone streamer. To make videos, you would transition from barfing VODs onto YouTube. Hey, everybody out there, I played Warzone for 6 hours yesterday. Watch the VOD. No. Highlight videos, of course, but even that, I mean, it's based on stream, so it's going to be limited. What if you made like a build guide or a strategy guide or something for how to win at Warzone, how to win with, you know, melee attacks only or whatever? I don't play these newer FPSs. I'm more of an Unreal Tournament guy. So yeah. Someone's going to call me a boomer just for saying I like Unreal Tournament, so I'm not running from that. I have played plenty of run and gun games over the years. So, yeah, well, more like back in the day. Before Epic Games decided to blow off the Unreal Tournament thing in favor of Fortnite. But that's the thing. You would change from, say, streaming a game to making videos, maybe instructing people about the game, or, you know, introducing people to the game or something like that. Just the format changes. So the point is, you're not starting from scratch as a streamer. You already know how to do this stuff. You just change a few details about your delivery. Videos are created from scratch, edited, crafted into masterpieces, high show flow. Hybrid streams like radio shows, etc. can be watched live or after the fact. They have medium show flow. And then hangout streams like hang out with a friend, they have the worst show flow. Blah if they're watched later. Well, that's kind of redundant, isn't it? Blah if there we go. Low show flow. Or, yeah, low, that'd be good. That's the thing. So you're avoiding a bunch of writer's block by doing this. So let's see here. As an example, if you usually stream a game, making a video about a game is simply a change in the way everything flows with your presentation. So instead of just streaming and whatever happens, you decide in advance what kind of video you want to make and then go film it. I will use film in quotes here because we could be talking about NVIDIA Shadow Play or an HDMI capture box or something. So things like a strategy guide or something. Let's see here. All right. Strategy. All right. So let's see here. Instead of raw streams, which is essentially footage, you have a strategy guide, playthrough, achievement guide, etc. etc. And that's the thing. I wonder how many people out there ever refer to like a stream as footage. Because that's basically what it is. You just record, and then whatever happens, happens. You don't really do anything with it afterwards. You can't do anything with it because you're live. Absolutely here. Hey, are we still working with the microphone? Good. All right. Set of raw streams, essential video, strategy guide, playthrough, achievement guide, etc. Now let's talk about the streaming side. Let's see, yep. All right. Videos are basically grab a... let's see here. Let's do besides videos. Besides videos, switching to YouTube streaming isn't a big deal either. So here's the thing. The big thing that matters with coming over from Twitch would be if you were a Twitch partner, what were the details of your contract? So let's see here. Twitch exclusivity is the only... Twitch exclusivity is the big thing to iron out. So affiliates equals no multi-streaming. And partners equals check the contract. Because partner contracts on Twitch are individually negotiated, so you can have different terms for different partners, and I've already seen different partners talk about their contracts. Whatever happens, happens. That's a double word, that's why it's flagging it. But yeah, I've seen different partners talk about what's in their contracts, and there is different stuff depending on what was negotiated. It's one of the big issues with Twitch partners, and then why nobody really talks about any kind of Twitch partner guides versus affiliate guides. Affiliates have a one-size-fits-all generic contract. Partners have different things depending on what they were able to negotiate. I've even seen partners multi-stream. Something you're not supposed to do. Some affiliates aren't supposed to do either. But if it's in the contract, then yeah. I mean, so that's one of those things here. But that's it. Then you come over to YouTube streaming, get used to the differences in general purpose versus something more specific like Twitch's focus on games and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. Grab a camera and come on over and have some fun. It doesn't have to be this big project. You don't have to stress out about it. But be very wary of people creating YouTube videos with the explicit intent of making this sound bigger than it actually is, so that you'll watch their videos essentially and give them watch time. You know, that thing that matters on YouTube. So don't sweat it. Just no. I could do an old Renetto reference here and say 2-bit, everybody's doing it. Yeah, but just yeah. So that's the thing. You already have something as a streamer, but if you want to come over to YouTube, get going on stuff on YouTube, you're not starting from square one, and that is bigger than you might think. You already have something that's established. I guess the last thing we could put on here is, let's see. When making the move, though, don't bolt from your audience. Let them know what's going on. I would even leave something on the channel page as an update of sorts. Like for Twitch, for example, it would be the channel trailer. I'd just say updated or something along those lines, so that people coming over can get the updates and maybe even the link and things along those lines. Because yeah, you don't want to be the person that just vanishes. I've seen YouTubers suddenly decide they were done with YouTube and not tell their audience anything. There are some people, though, that will unsub and stuff like that. And there have been times when, unfortunately, it's better to not tell your audience what's going on, because they'll assume the worst if you say any little detail. They'll connect dots that aren't there or something. But the big thing is not to vanish. So maybe explain things or whatnot, maybe, but as long as people know you're still doing something somewhere, that's really the thing to keep an eye on with all of this. But yeah, not a big project for a streamer to go to YouTube. But right now, with the Harris Heller thing and everything that's going on, there's going to be a lot of folks out there. We can close the Twitch tuber thing. There's gonna be some folks making videos. They want you to watch their videos, and so they'll make something of this that it's not. So come over here and do stuff. In a sense, I could actually say that YouTube is better for new streamers than Twitch because of the lack of the emphasis on concurrence. Talked about this earlier, and I think it bears repeating once again. So you come over, you get into streaming, you want to experiment. So, but how can you do that on a platform where every stream below 3 concurrents hurts your progression? As opposed to the 2 viewer streams, like we talked about the 2 viewer Andy problem over here, giving you watch time that progresses you towards that 4,000 goal. So simultaneously, because of that one detail, you have something that's good on YouTube, bad on Twitch. It's sad, but it's true. But there we are. Not a big project for a streamer to go to YouTube. It doesn't need to just get over here and do stuff. Look, if you're worried about your videos being garbage, you're probably correct. But every time we try something new, we probably aren't very good at it when we first start anyways. It's part of the progression of this sort of stuff that you will learn, you will grow to cringe minimum at the stuff you used to think was good. But it's part of growing with all of this. It's part of growing as a creator. It's part of trying to, amount to something in that respect. So, all right. Next up, I say grab a camera and just get going on it. Now the ESO event is over. Let's get back to figuring out how we're going to return to videos here. I've got gear that is new in the box, and it's sat around long enough. Time to get back to telling the stories that I want to tell on this channel. What's this one called? Killjoy's Chicken? I don't get what this song's about. It's a Streambeats thing anyway. Streambeats.com for Streambeats Synthwave, for music that doesn't have DMCA nonsense, and is even a legal license you can submit if you ever run into some stuff. Either way, till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.